We are out and about bright and early on a fresh but sunny September morning at the Casterton Vintage Working Event. With very few exceptions, everything you see at Casterton is pre-1950, and this year we've got some very unusual tractors for you. It's 100 years of Caterpillar this year, and we're going to celebrate that by showing you not only Caterpillar track layers but a number of others as well. And we catch up with these tractor men taking a look at a 1927 Renault PE. This crawler tractor is a Fiat 55L. They also made this with a steering wheel. And this tractor is a Garrett, or a recreation of a Garrett. The story would fill a video, so if you want to know more about it, look it up on the internet. It wasn't a commercial success, so very much the story of the tractor that never was. And next we've got a County E27 NP6, owned and driven by the Fenland Crusader. You can find out more about it on his channel. And a Farm All M with a 2-furrow international plough. A 1948 Caterpillar D2. A Caterpillar Petrol 50 dating from 1935. A 1929 Caterpillar 10 High Clear. I think this is the oldest tractor on site, the 1916 International Mogul 816. And the next oldest, the 1919 International Titan 1020. A 1930 Fordson with a Traxxon track conversion. And lined up for a photograph, we've got these three early Caterpillars. A 1928 Caterpillar 30. The High Clear 10 we saw earlier. And to complete the set, a Caterpillar 20. And the Caterpillar 30 following along behind. An original condition Case Model C. A 1934 Marshall 1830. A 1929 Hart Par 1836. We've moved on now to the harvesting section, and we'll start off with this one and only Marshall self-propelled combine. They only built two like this, and as far as we know, this is the only one that survived. And this is the Marshall Trail Combine from the same era as the self-propelled. In fact, to build the self-propelled, they took one of these and modified it. And if you look closely at the two of them, you can see the similarities. Sadly for Marshalls, the Trail Combine was probably outdated by the time they attempted to turn it into a self-propelled, and the competition had just got too far ahead. For example, this Alice Chalmers Gleaner. And here's an overview of the machines we had working in the harvesting area at Casterton this year. We'll come to the binder in the foreground in a minute, and we'll also take a look at the baler working in the background. A very rare sight today, this Salopian baler was never particularly successful in its working day. I'm told it adopted one or two features from other brands of the day, including a clever system to keep the ram in the compressed position when it tied the bale. This was copied from New Holland. Unfortunately, this went wrong later in the day and broke both the needles, so if you've got a pair of needles for a Salopian baler in the shed, drop me a comment below. And now it's time to take a look at the McCormick Deering binder. I've shown you this working earlier in the year, but this time we're pulling it with a different tractor, McCormick Deering W12. And it looks like we've got a slipping canvas, nothing we can't fix with a bit of adjustment. That's going better. Right, we've cut enough wheat, now it's time to pick it up and take it to the threshing drum. This W12 would have been manufactured in Chicago, where International produced them between 1934 and 1938. We're putting the sheaves through this McCormick Deering peg drum or separator, and it's being powered by this 1941 International TD6. This is a petrol start and diesel run engine. After thrashing, we're putting the straw through this McCormick Deering number 15 stationary baler. Also hard at work in the same area, we've got this Ransom's thrashing drum being driven by a Ruston and Hornsby single cylinder traction engine. The straw is being baled by this Powell stationary baler, and it's being driven by a field marshal. Originally this would have been a wire tie baler, but it's been converted to string. We'll watch just how it works. Here come the needles, pushed in by the operator on the other side. And when they've got enough straw on both sides of them, the indicator will drop. And then the operator will pull the needles back, bringing the string with them. On the other side, you've now got two pieces of twine, so the first thing you've got to do is make sure you get the one that's connected to the bale and not the one that's connected to the string ball, and you just manually tie them off. Back in the harvest field, they're connecting the Case Model C up to the Blackstone tractor rake. The Blackstone factory was only about 2 miles from this site. Unfortunately now it's mostly covered in houses. Our tour around the site takes us back to the tractor field. Let's see what's working at the moment. One of the smaller tractors is this Bristol 10, which dates from 1937. The Rumley Oil Pool 1610, this one dates from 1919. They were built in Indiana between 1917 and 1924. A 1936 Alice Chalmers Model K. Here's a tractor we've not caught up with yet, the John Deere Model D. And another John Deere, this time the Model B. The Case CC4. And a 1938 International W12 in red paint. The earlier one was a 1934 build in the grey paint. And next, a very rare tractor, the Fowler Gyrotiller. I think this one's a 40, as in 40 horsepower. They built them right up to over 200 horsepower. They were very expensive, so became more of a contractor's tool. They also gained a bit of a reputation for making a mess in the hands of a bad operator. You certainly don't want to get them in too deep on the wrong soil. A 1924 Fordson Model F. And now it's time for some steam ploughing. We've got a good long pull here. You can only just see the engine at the other end. And if you watch carefully, you'll see when he signals stop. First you'll see the steam, and then you'll hear the whistle. If you've ever wondered how a steam engine manages to coil the rope so tidily, it's done by this contraption underneath here. You can just see the cam, and you can see how it raises and lowers the arm that feeds the rope onto the drum. It looks like the moisture level of the soil is just at the point where it wants to stick to the moldboards. The trouble is that it makes this end of the plough too heavy to tip it up, so you have to clean it before you carry on. So that's the system of two-engine steam cable ploughing developed and patented by John Fowler. And now we're going to take a look at steam direct ploughing, where the cable wouldn't be long enough because the fields are too big. There wasn't much of this done in the UK, but the UK engine manufacturers did export a number of machines to other parts of the world where it was more popular. The combination being demonstrated here is a Ransom steam tractor, and it's pulling a Ransom's ride-on plough. It looks like we're a little bit short of steam. We'll take advantage of the steam engine having a little bit of a rest, and we'll make some plough adjustments. Back with the tractors now. Let's just take one final look at the action. We were very lucky with the weather this year at Casterton. The forecast was not good, but we actually had 2 lovely days. The forecast worst day was probably Sunday, and it turned out to be a beautiful sunny day all day. If you'd like to come and look at some of the old machinery we have working here, it's the 3rd week in September every year. Just keep an eye on Casterton Vintage Working Event Facebook page and we'll let you know all the details. So that's all from Casterton Vintage videos for this time. We'll be back soon with more tractors in action, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching.